Here's an example of setting up the wrap rate. You're looking at the data entry tab, and if you scroll to the right, there will be this section here. None of these numbers are actually used in any of the calculations in each of the rows. It's only there for informational purposes. So there is the full wrap rate, assuming it's a program, which has all tax, overhead, G&A, and then there's the raw rate. If you have a different location, such as I have chosen here, which is Tucson, there's another wrap and raw rate. This rate here is if it's an IRAD, which is a raw rate. These are all calculated from another tab, which I'll show you in a minute. These two here are so you can enter in your own individual raw rate and wrap rate based on your own calculations. Again, they're not based on, they're not used in calculations. You can enter in as you wish. They're only there for reference. These particular rates up here, since they're in a table, which I'll show you in a minute, you can select what year to choose from and it'll change. And so we'll go back and show you how to set all of those values. So if you go down to one of the tabs, doesn't matter, select unhide, labor wrap rate calculations, okay that. Now this tab is protected, so you want to go to review, unprotect, there's no password, and now you can edit the rates. The local rates, which currently is set for Albuquerque and Tucson, these are the full wrap rates, 125 and on down. The 125 is a fixed value that I set in, but then I have 1.03 for escalation, 3% per year, and it's all based on the year selected. So if your current year is 2018 and your wrap rate is not 125 but 127, you can enter in 127, hit return, and you'll see the other rates change. This value is based on the value over here. You only want to change the numbers in green. And if there's a Tucson or other wrap rate, right now I would not recommend changing the names. But should you change it to 110, you could use that. These rates over here are all based on the rates that you've entered in here. So if we go ahead and re-protect that sheet, not using a password, do not change the selections, and then we'll go ahead and hide it again. Now you can go back to the data entry tab, and every value has now been updated. Again, if your local raw rate is not 65, let's say it's 80, you can enter in 80. And if your total wrap rate based on historical information or what you believe it to be, let's say that's 185. Again, this information is only for informational purposes. So if you wanted to enter in a new value for labor, insert a new row, hit the insert new row button. We're going to scroll up, make sure we get the new row. My new labor on widget 1. I hit tab, and since this is a labor, you don't want it to be a supply chain, so OBE labor. You could also hit the insert row height. This is labor. I'm going to arrow over to the right. Now I can enter in the quantity of number of hours. I want 10 hours at a labor rate, and you want to use the raw rate. So I could either use the raw rate based on the table, or I can enter in the raw rate based on what I currently know it to be, and which is 80. So I will enter 80. It'll calculate all the numbers out. It's now at 5% because I assume this is a program, but we'll scroll to the right. It's not a material. It's labor, LI for labor internal. It is a program, local program internal labor, which is shown here. I will scroll further over, and now you can see, since I have selected in 2018, here's the labor. Now let's say I wanted to have that labor in 2019. I could switch that to the year 19. It'll take on the new labor rates. And if I wanted to see 19, and I already have that selected, not here, but I will change. I want to see program for 2019, and then there's my labor.